Do you like fantasy football and sports betting? Come join us here at the Parlay Fantasy Football Podcast, where hosts Matt, Shane, and Jason talk about fantasy players, lineups, and sports betting to help you compete and win championships. And of course, some extra cash. Let's jump right into the show.
We are back. We are back in studio for another episode of the Parlay Fantasy Football Podcast. Matt, Shane, and Jason with you guys on this cold evening. How are you two lovely gentlemen doing tonight?
I am doing great. It is the season of thanks, so I'm thankful for you guys being here. I'm thankful for you listeners, and most importantly, but our favorite, the people who are over on YouTube. Thank you for being here as well. Leave a like, please.
Hey, glad to be back with y'all. Last week was rough for me watching my Texans and that abysmal performance. I thought we had it. Then I hate blaming kickers, but when you miss a 28-yard field goal to try to tie a game, it was like, I cannot. No words can describe how I felt. But glad to be back. Playoffs are about to start in fantasy, and we're getting down to nitty-gritty.
It is the fantasy episode of the podcast tonight. Before we jump into all the stuff and the good stuff we like to talk about, man, if you guys want to follow any of us on our socials, you can find Shane at Shane Parlay FF. You can find Jason at Jason Parlay FF. You can find myself at Matt_Parlay FF on the old X machine. Head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Click on, or actually search for the Parlay Fantasy Football Podcast, and then click that subscribe button. Leave us 5-star review, guys. It helps the show. Thank you, like Shane said, to all of our subscribers, our current subscribers who are sharing and spreading the love for the podcast. We continue to grow. Head over to fantasy6pack.net. Guys, it is the week of Thanksgiving, as Shane alluded to. Number one, go eat some good food. That's the first and foremost thing. Number two, have fun with your friends, your family. And number three, watch football. But number four, head over to fantasy6pack.net. Become an all-access member today on Black Friday. You guys can get 48% off. Okay? 48% off on all-access membership if you guys use the code Black Friday. Okay? It's only going on for Friday. If you guys don't want to do that, you can become an all-access member anytime. You can use the promo code Parlay FF and get 15% off. But the 48% is the biggest sale that they do over on the year. And once Black Friday is done, it is done. What's that give you guys? Gives you guys tons of information on the website. Okay, lots of fantasy news, lots of trades and drafts and all those kinds of strategies. And then it gives you access to the Discord. And that's where the money is to be made, because there are a lot of people, us three included, that intermingle with subscribers, listeners, other Fantasy Six Pack employees, other podcasters. Okay, they're all over there, and your answers or your questions get answered quickly. So do that. But first, thank you guys for everything that you do for us, and happy Thanksgiving week. And like Jason said, fantasy playoffs are starting in 2 weeks? 2 weeks from this week, right, Shane?
Yeah, and some of them have already started. So if you are in a fantasy playoff right now, well, hopefully you made it. And second of all, good luck.
Heck yeah. So that being said, guys, tonight we go over the news and notes. Shane does news and notes. Shane will run through some fire and ice plays. We'll all three kind of talk about the fire and ice plays. And then we're going to go through the list of games and talk about, again, players that may not be your big name players, but players to potentially pick up. Players to potentially play, and players to potentially sit if you have other options. One thing that I will say, and I'll let you two talk about this too if you guys want, is with the fantasy playoffs coming up, if you have not started the playoffs, this is the week right now to decide on your waiver wire pickups. Look at your first week of playoffs. If you know you're going to get in, look at your first week playoff matchups, see who you're playing, see who they have. And also remember, guys, next week is the last week for buys, and it is a massive, massive bye week. So This week, you want to go ahead and look at that next week and see if your opponent needs a certain player or needs something due to a bye week. Pick those players up. Pick them up because it will help your roster. Do you guys want to add anything to that? Because I think that's like super important. This week is super important for fantasy. Looking forward to the playoffs.
Yeah, I would say play your waiver pickups this week in preparation for next week. Because if you are somebody who's borderline to making it to the fantasy football playoffs, I know that you need to win this week. I know. But next week could be killer. Make sure you check your buys.
Yes. Jason?
Yeah, and real quick, if you have the fab, spend it. Might as well spend it. It might be gross spending $30-$40 on a player that you're like, I shouldn't be spending this on, but you have the money, go ahead and spend it.
Also, round of applause for you that still have fab in week 12.
Me.
I have a little. Okay. I'm not going to lie.
There hasn't been very many players that you're like, dang, I need to go spend a lot of money on this year.
Yeah, there was no Puka this year.
Right. And to be right honest with you, like in 2 of the dynasty leagues that all 3 of us are in that I'm actually probably going to make the playoffs in, it's all kind of just fallen into place for me. Like I haven't really had to go out and get certain players. Like I have started some gross players that gave me a boom week, and it's just kind of fallen into that play. I've gotten kind of lucky on quite a few weeks, to be honest with you. But yeah, like Shane said, if you guys still have fab, congrats. I just got lucky. I just got lucky with my dynasty plays this year. But yeah, we'll get into some more talk and stuff like that. Shane, why don't you go ahead and take her away?
To the dreaded, the deaded. It's time for news and notes. All righty, fellas. It is time for the news and notes. I have some depressing news for those of you fantasy owners who have been buoyed by one. J.K. Dobbins. He is hurt, and we don't have an update. That is the news. Thank you. No, just kidding. We have some more. Robinson also hurt. So, again, sometimes you got buoyed by those 2 running backs. Robinson is dealing with a high ankle sprain and suffered some ligament damage. So keep an eye on his status going forward. They do have a bye in week 14, so they may just hold him out to be safe. And Austin Eckler also sustained a concussion. So, Jerry McNichols, come on down, buddy. Speaking of the Commanders, Austin Seibert, who missed the game-tying extra point, on IR with punch to stomach. Yeah, I don't know why he went to the IR, but they put him on it. So I'm just gonna think that he got shanked by the team. That's
everybody on this team. Yeah,
I'm gonna say somebody punched him. Josh Downs likely to play in week 12, so take note of that. Wait, week 12, week 13. What week are we on, guys? Week 13.
13.
Week 12.
Week 13.
I don't know why. Excuse my dad brain for one moment. Josh Downs unlikely to play for week 13, so find a replacement if you need one. We all saw Gardner Minshew break his shoulder. He broke his collarbone, will be out for the foreseeable future. It appears that Aiden O'Connell will be the starting quarterback in Las Vegas, and they're playing the Chiefs this week, so we'll see what happens with good old Aiden O'Connell at the helm. Last but not least, Romeo Dobbs has a concussion. Move up Dontavian Wicks in all of your fantasy football lineups. That is it for the news and notes. What do you guys got on that? Anything?
Not really. I think the biggest one for me is just the Jeremy McNichols play. That's going to be key for your waivers this week. So go use your fab.
Yeah, I don't know if there's really any other running back to target in this week. Right.
Not at all. Yeah,
Right.
unless you have faith in Amir Abdullah versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Fun fact, the Kansas City Chiefs are the first against opposing running backs.
I don't have any
fantasy points given up.
no. No.
I mean, if you're interested, if I could interest you in that. Other than that, I think we'll just dive right in to Fire and Ice. Alrighty, fellas. We got some fun ones this week. For your hot ones. The hot ones. We got Justin Herbert versus the paltry Atlanta Falcons. Listen, we spoke about this briefly on the betting episode. Fun fact, fantasy and betting do coincide, so go listen to that one if you haven't. But Herbert is hot because the Atlanta Falcons are the 25th defense in EPA per dropback. Herbert will carve up this defense and probably use a thunderbolt on the Atlanta Falcons, knocking them out of possible playoff contention. Our running back hot is Mr. Bucky Irving. You cannot buck the man. He is coming down the pipe. He only handled 12 carries last week and still got in the end zone and still had over 80 yards. Another favorable matchup on deck. Go ahead and slam Bucky Irving against the Carolina Panthers. If you are fortunate enough to have him on your roster, feel thankful that this is where we're at in the season, because he has a pretty fantastic route for the rest of the season. Speaking of rest of the season, one Jackson Smith-Njigba has officially taken over. This is your takeoff warning for Mr. JSN. He is officially making himself the alpha in that room. He had a 25% target share last week. He had 7 targets, and he caught 6 of them for 77 yards. The dude is balling. It's something to beholden, because we hoped for this earlier on in the season, and it kind of didn't happen. And then it's here. And how great it is that JSN is truly get up now. He is on the hot seat for the Seattle Seahawks, who have a pretty decent matchup this week versus the Jets, who have honestly been very miserable, have been a fly zone this year. So
especially going up against nickel corners and whatnot.
Yeah, he's playing with the slot a lot, and his usage just gonna go sky high. And Sauce can't tackle, so that's super helpful. Last but not least, your tight end fire of the week is Mr. Jonnu Smith. Listen, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Jonnu continues to eat and faces a Packers team that just got absolutely cooked by George Kittle with Brandon Allen at quarterback. Yeah. I don't care that it's cold weather. That means it's going to be less deep passes for Tua, and the wind also will affect that. I expect Jonnu to be a very, very key part of this Dolphins offense this week and for the foreseeable future, as the Dolphins continue to fight and claw their way into the playoff picture. So fire up Jonnu if you have him. If he is available for some reason in your league, go grab him, because he should not be available at this point in time.
It's crazy that we even saw a Waddle sighting last week too.
Yeah, he waddled right on into the box score, and back to remind us of the fact that he is, in fact, a good wide receiver.
Where has he been all year? I guess he finally showed up there, bud.
Yeah. Unpredictable. He decided to actually get off the bus when he got to, it's all great and fine when we're talking about the hot guys. Wait, pause. When we're talking about the fire players. But these are the not guys. And the not guys this week are some shocking names. So be prepared. Buckle in. Strap in. First up, we are icing the one and only Matt Stafford. Listen, the Los Angeles Rams will be leaning heavily on a run game versus the Saints, who struggle. And the next 3 games for the Los Angeles Rams are all against teams with below average below average against running backs. This is not only a sell for this week, it's a sell for basically all of the fantasy playoffs because I do not foresee the Rams attempting to end their season having having Matt Stafford just air it out when they can hand the ball off to Kyron Williams like we know Sean McVay likes to do. Expect Kyron Williams to handle 20 touches or more in every single game for the foreseeable future.
I agree. Hopefully he can hold on to the football, though.
If not, hopefully Blake Corum gets played.
Yeah, agreed.
Now, one that hurts to say out loud, Malik Neighbors is on the ice list. Unless it's Drew Lock. If it's Drew Lock, you guys know my stance about him. He's going to sling it. But if it is Tommy DeVito again, I want nothing to do with that experience. I want nothing to do with that experiment. I'm out. I don't care. It's a fantastic matchup. I don't care. If I can pitch Malik Neighbors, I'm going to. Because that was one of the worst displays of football I've seen out of an NFL team in a long time.
And Dallas has their all-pro cornerback back in the lineup and healthy.
Yes, Dallas is getting healthier, and the Giants are officially selling in the most impressive fashion in a long time. Your iced running back. This one was sponsored by one Matty Ice himself. Matty Ice decided to call in his chip this week, and it is Jonathan Taylor versus the New England Patriots as the Ice Man for running backs. JT had a very uncharacteristic performance, and if they continue to allow Anthony Richardson to run the football, I do not foresee JT being a benefit of this offense in the way that we thought he could be. Now, if they were to work in some, RPOs and he gets a couple handoffs or dumps, then yeah, we're in business. But at this point, the players are what they are, and JT has not been a performer, so we have to treat it as writing on the wall. Additionally, the Patriots will be very motivated this week following an absolutely abysmal showing by their defense. Expect them to come out and want to throw punches and throw the weight around. So with that reason, as Matt would say, I'm out.
I'm out.
Last but not least, Cole Kmet. Come on down, buddy. Hey, we've had some highs and lows this season with you, Cole Kmet. However, you're playing 98% of the snaps for your offense, and yet you are nowhere to be seen with 4 targets for 40 yards. My guy, it's just not working out. So it's time to cut bait. It's time to move on. We'll find a better, repertoire later. My guy, we'll work on this over the offseason. What do you think, Cole Kmet? You think we can do that? I think this is our breakup of being Cole Kmeters on this podcast. So sorry, buddy. Goodbye.
Yeah, that's a good list. I like the fire plays. I don't mind. I like the ice plays. I don't like the Matthew Stafford ice as much, but I understand it. Your reasoning there kind of made me understand a little bit more. You bring up a good point. You really do. It's hard to ice a quarterback when you know that the talent of Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are there for him to be like just massive security blankets. So that makes it a little bit tougher for me to say like I'm totally out on him, but it makes a lot of sense when you read it out. So I guess I'll get on board on that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he's not playable, but he doesn't have the safe floor that a running quarterback does, so he needs the volume as a passer.
Right.
With what is a very soft projected schedule for them for running the football.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's time to try to find a different horse in the race.
Yeah. No, I get behind board on that. So those are your fire and ice plays for the week, guys. Remember, if you have to play some of these ice players, which I'm sure some of you do, and I'm sure some of you guys will play these players, just know that there might be some down weeks, okay? Quarterbacks might throw some interceptions. Running backs might falter and not get as many carries or yards, and wide receivers and tight ends. The big thing is this point in the year, you don't want to put up a goose egg and you don't want to put up low numbers. You need to find a way to score points. So that's where we're at right now with the fantasy season. So you guys get ready to get into some of these matchups because there is no bye week, so we got a full slate of games.
Full slate. Give me the plate. Let's get going.
Ooh, love it. All right, well, y'all know, man. Thanksgiving Day. We've got the Chicago Bears traveling to the Detroit Lions to play in the Dome. You know who you're starting here, right? Are there players outside of the norm that you feel confident in this game?
I mean, is Rome Odunze considered the norm?
I would say no.
Probably not. No.
Then I toast you, Rome Odunze. You are officially christened as playing this week. The Lions secondary is sus at best. The Bears will probably be playing from behind because the Lions offense is incredible. So Rome, my guy, please, for the love of God, clear 40 yards because you cost me $5,000 last week.
Are you starting up every wide receiver on the Bears?
Yes.
Yeah,
with a grain of
probably
salt.
no.
I'm
Yeah.
not feeling incredibly confident in the likes of DJ Moore, but he's gonna have a pop game eventually. And yeah.
Yeah, I think I am. I think I am as well. DeAndre Swift, you're obviously on the Lions side. Sam Laporta has been absolutely nowhere. Now, obviously, you drafted him in a spot where you cannot really bench him, I'm sure. So, are you guys confident Sam Laporta as a start this week?
It depends completely on the health of Amon-Ra. Khalif Raymond is out, as well as a couple of the ancillary pieces in the line. So I feel like they're gonna be pretty hyper focused on basically only the core pieces, just like they usually are.
Yeah.
But with Montgomery banged up, and I could see him being a key piece of the workload here.
Okay. Yep. Awesome. Yeah, this game is fairly easy. Most of these games are going to be fairly easy, especially at this point in the time in the year to know who you're going to start and not start. So the next game, another Thanksgiving game, gross game. Giants playing at the Dallas Cowboys. Jason, what do you like here?
Gross. Maybe Tracy and CD.
Is Ferguson back this week?
Yeah,
Probably.
I heard that he has a good chance to be back this week. So
I couldn't even tell you anybody else that I feel comfortable starting. Neighbors
it's hard.
Have to.
Yeah, I mean, most people will probably start him just at where they drafted him. It's just one of those times, like Shane said, you just got to beware.
Matt, you want to know what I called this matchup?
What?
Family time.
Yeah, Shane, I like it. I love that.
There is almost no reason to watch this football game.
I will not be watching. I mean, obviously, we'll probably watch a little bit.
Yeah, it's probably going to be on. It's going to be on the TV, but like, it's not going to be something I'm like, it's not must-watch television whatsoever.
This is the nap time.
Yeah. This is post-lunch Turkey Day nap.
Exactly.
Like, that's why they put it here. They knew that people would be sleeping through the game anyways. So, yeah, Rico Dowdle maybe but I don't like any. I'm not seeking to play anybody out of any of these teams.
Yeah, nope. I'm the same way. I am the exact same way. Let's just move on to the next game. That one's gross. The Miami Dolphins. The Miami stinking Dolphins playing at Green Bay on Thanksgiving Day. This is the night game.
Miami Dolphins.
Are you
the greatest fight song?
Yeah, are you after last week's performance in Waddle? Are you willing to fire him up?
I am. Alexander will be covering Tyreek Hill. So I feel comfortable. We talked about the weather conditions in the betting episode. I don't really want to invest a ton in the passing game. I think that Waddle, however, does fit what a cold weather game would look like to me. A lot of in-breaking routes. He doesn't have a deep route tree right now. So I feel like, yeah, I'd kind of be okay with it.
You know who Jair Alexander should cover? Jonnu Smith. Because Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle have virtually been irrelevant for the last how many weeks.
Well, I mean, Tyreek is playing with a torn ligament in his wrist, so like that can't be super fun.
So he should just sit out. So us fantasy players should we'll just know not to start him.
Just no. Yeah, we don't feel bad about benching him when he's out. Yeah.
Those of you that had dreams in Raheem Mostert getting play, yeah, he's pretty much done, in my opinion. I think he's droppable. So, yeah. Other than that, on the Green Bay side, if Romeo Doubs does not play, do you have any confidence in like a Dontavian Wicks?
Yes.
Okay.
Because Christian Watson also doesn't have hands. So I would prefer the speedy guy with no hands versus the big guy with no hands.
Okay.
And yeah, that's my take, Matt. I know it's super analytical on that one, but
what about Tucker Kraft? He did fall into the end zone last week, but that's what saved him.
Yeah, he fell into the end zone on my bench, and it was very sad. I do like Kraft in a cold weather game.
Okay. Okay.
Tight ends usually get hyper focused in cold weather games, so
okay. Love it. Love it. The Las Vegas Raiders traveling to the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a Friday game?
This is the first Black Friday game.
Well, Shane, go ahead. Take her away with the Chiefs.
All right. Fun fact. Kansas City has had this game circled on the calendar since Christmas of last year. Expect Kansas City to be exceptionally motivated in this spot to take care of the Raiders. Aiden O'Connell is starting for the Raiders. Fun fact, when Aiden O'Connell came in, or I guess not when Aiden O'Connell came in, when Desmond Ridder came in, Trey Tucker was targeted on 4 straight dropbacks. So if it is, in fact, Desmond Ridder, Trey Tucker would be an interesting start in the slot against the Kansas City Chiefs, who cannot cover a slot quarter or a slot wide receiver to save our lives. And the Chiefs, you're firing up everybody that has wheels because, again, they're going to be incredibly motivated to put as many points against this Raiders team as possible and just embarrass them in a showcase game.
I am very fascinated and very close, mainly in deeper leagues, about Noah Gray. 4 touchdowns in 2 weeks. Is this a point where someone can spot start him, or is he not quite there yet as far as your confidence level?
I think of him as an all or nothing tight end. If I don't have anything, I would much rather play a guy that like could go all or nothing. And Noah Gray fits that to a T. He's either going to get 6 catches for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns, or he is going to not receive a single target and block the entire game. There's no in between for him. That is how Kansas City rolls with him being incorporated in the game plan.
Okay. All right. Jason, do you like anybody on the Raiders?
Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, maybe.
Yeah, I'm a little wary of Jacoby just because Trent will probably. They don't switch sides of the field.
Right, but
Trent
those are the only
once.
two. Those are the only 2 you're even thinking about playing on that team.
Yeah, I mean Trey Tucker does spark some interest for me. But yeah, other than that, I agree.
Okay. Boom. Lock it down. Lock her in, boys and girls. The Tennessee Titans going to the Washington Commanders, who lost to the Dallas Cowboys last week. And that game was so awesome to watch. The last 7 minutes was just absolutely fireworks show until Austin Seibert missed an extra point and landed on the IR. Quotes. So this game, who do you like? Do you like Noah Brown? Anybody out of the ordinary? Noah Brown got hyper targeted.
He did.
Jay Daniels loves throwing to Noah Brown.
Yeah, and we called him out last episode. Yeah, I think Noah Brown's a good play. I think Zach Ertz is a good play. I am a little worried about the Commanders' integrity of their O-line in this game, which means that I think Jay Daniels could run the football a lot. I will say that I think that I'm not going to be the person that pulls the trigger because if I do, he's not scoring a touchdown. But Nick Westbrook-Akine has been on fire. 5 touchdowns in the last 4 games, right, Matt?
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, he's been He's been a good receiver for them,
and he has
late.
Yeah, he has 6 touchdowns in the last 7 games or something. It's something crazy like that. So that's my take on the game. Is everybody that's normal, that's playable, is playable, but be wary of Commanders players because their O-line's really not that great, and the Titans defense is pretty impressive.
Pretty stout, yeah. Jason?
Yeah, the Titans defensive line is a top 5 unit in the NFL, in my opinion. They shut down the run defense. Run game. I don't think Will Levis pulls it off 2 great games in a row. We haven't seen that out of him yet. So it's one of those things. I would only trust Ridley. Go ahead, Shane.
Would you say he turns into a turkey?
Anyways, yeah, that was dumb. But anyways, yeah, Pollard, Ridley, Commander, Scary Terry. I want to see more consistency out of him. The start of the season was phenomenal, and the only points that he put up was that 80-yard bomb last week, which I think saved a lot of people in fantasy. But it sucks trying to rely on that. So I think it's going to be a pass-heavy unit for the Commanders this week.
Okay.
I think we call that the check Mary, by the way, because it wasn't a Hail Mary, but
yeah, that was nuts.
It essentially was like, yeah, it was a check down Hail Mary. So,
and by the way, Shane, Will Levis only turns into a turkey if he can put some Hellman's mayo on it. Okay.
Yeah, that commercial is awful. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but yeah, it's
bad. All right, next game we have the Los Angeles Chargers traveling to Atlanta to play the Falcons, coming off of a bye week. Jason, I'll let you go first here. Who do you like? Who do you like for the Falcons?
You got to suit them up, everybody.
Do you guys like Tyler Algier? Is he a flex worthy player?
Not in this matchup.
No. Maybe next week if you're desperate, but not. I don't like him this week. I'm benching Quentin Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, he turned
after that drag route that he dropped that would have gone for 6. Yeah, no, I can't.
Well, who would you rather play, Quentin Johnson or Josh Palmer?
Palmer.
Okay. Of the 3, Will Dissly included in that, who would you play?
Will Dissly? 100%. 100%.
Yeah, probably Dissly.
Yeah, I concur with Jason. You're firing up all the normal Falcons guys, and the Chargers.
Pretty simple.
I mean, you have, I feel like you have to suit up UJ again if you have him, and you need to. This is a full slate, though, so you shouldn't have to.
Right. Yeah. I agree with that. 100%. And I need people to. Now, a lot of people in our community are probably not really sleeping on Justin Herbert anymore, but good Lord, guys. He is a top 6 quarterback. He needs to be started every single week. He is not getting talked about a lot, and he's getting rushing yards. That's the key. Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is letting him loose, man. I love it.
No, you were right the first time. Isn't it John? Yeah, John's his coach, right? Am I crazy?
I don't know. I get them mixed up.
They're the same person.
Yeah.
It is Jim. It is Jim Harbaugh. I don't know why I was thinking you were wrong. You got me confuddled by your statement.
Yeah, this game's pretty easy, man. You're going to fire up everybody and just be confident in it. There's going to be I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, in my opinion. Next game. You got my Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. The lowly Bengals. The surprisingly lowly Bengals here. So, who do you like? Who do you like out of the ordinary here?
Jalen Warren deserves a shout out again because Najee Harris has turned back into the turkey he was last year. Super inefficient running the football last week. Jalen Warren was the star of that backfield. He will continue to garner additional running shares as we approach the end of the season. I think that it's pretty apparent who the better running back is in that backfield.
Is Chase Brown back this week?
I believe so. Yes.
Yes, I think he is.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's an automatic then. Even though they're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, but it isn't Cincinnati. Pittsburgh didn't look that great the last game they played, or last week against Cleveland. It was a very although it was like 5 inches of snow or something like that. It was a crazy game, crazy winter wonderland. Is there?
Yeah, it was wild to watch.
Is there
just
any-
piling up on the brim of Mike Tomlin's hat, and
Yeah,
he's such a G that he refused to clear his bill for an entire quarter.
Yeah,
yeah, it was pretty fun.
Is there anybody out of the ordinary here in this game? You're probably going to fire up pretty much everybody in this game. I have heard Pat Freiermuth. No go this week.
Never a go anymore. In my
really?
opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like tight. Like I would rather start Noah Gray over Pat Freiermuth.
Okay.
That's how I would put it. He's
Hit
just
or
so
miss.
he's so inconsistent that like he's not reliable. And when he does have a big game, it's like 3 catches for 40 yards, and you hope and pray that he falls into the end zone.
Yeah. More than likely, you sit him on the bench and he'll have a good game, and then when you start him, he has a terrible game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just completely unpredictable. And if I'm playing the unpredictable game, I would rather take the guy that could blow up and put up 40 points for me, or 28 points, however many Noah Gray had last week.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. Okay, next game. We have the Indianapolis Colts traveling to New England to play the Patriots. Well, you already heard us talk about JT. We iced him. It's not looking real good when Anthony Richardson's the quarterback. Josh Downs, I don't think is going to play this week. Michael Pittman could be. I mean, he kind of got back on track last week. He made some catches that I was just like, dude, where the hell has this been all year?
You got targets.
Yeah,
You need to.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, you need
guess
targets
that's
to make catches, Matt. Come on.
I guess that is accurate. That's accurate. Accurate statement there. But when he had those targets and some of those catches where he was getting like smashed as soon as the ball hit his hand, and then he stayed up and went for like an extra 8 to 10 yards. Like I was like, dude, bro, this is absolutely insane. Do we get Pity City back?
For the playoffs.
Yeah, no joke. But anybody else out of the ordinary that you guys like or dislike?
Are you
Patriots
starting
wise
Pierce this week?
What'd you say?
Pierce?
I don't think so. I'm personally not. It's just one of those. Well, maybe with Josh Downs out, he might get a few more targets. But it's not something that I can feel confident in.
Yeah, I would honestly lead towards Adonai Mitchell if you're like looking for that, because I feel like Adonai has the deep threat, but he also runs some of the slot routes that JD Downs did. So
yeah,
and plus, I think the one issue with Pity City this week is Christian Gonzalez exists.
Yeah.
So
it just feels like you don't have to do very many desperate plays this week.
It is
last week. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
They definitely need to stay within the system this week against the Patriots.
Yeah. There's anybody on the Patriots side. Confidence in Pop Douglas or Ramondre. I mean,
I have
what
to
do you
start
guys
Ramondre in some leagues, and that's basically.
I'm forced to as well.
Yeah.
Just because I don't really have any other options at running back. But
I don't think you can trust any receivers in that offense right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in agreement. Shane, you agree with that?
Yeah, I think Pop is still a play if you need it. I don't know that it's something that anybody needs in a full slate, but he's reliable as far as the most reliable receiver in that Patriots core goes. And Ramondre, after a bad week, yeah, he should get back on track.
Yeah.
The whole showing from the Patriots last week was just terrible. So
it was bad. Yeah,
there's one quarter.
I still think that it was. It literally was 27 points in one quarter by the fraudulent Dolphins. But I think that Hunter Henry is a play. I think Drake May could be a play if you want to.
Okay. Let's move on. You have your Houston Texans traveling to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. Jay, is Joe Mixon going to get back on track this week?
They should be able to run the football this week and give him 20 touches, which he deserves every single week. Last week was a bad matchup with our offensive line and our shit-ass run game that we have when we do the same freaking run over and over again, hoping that he doesn't get hit in the backfield. But that's for here nor there. If we give CJ time, Mixon will run for over 100 yards and have a couple TDs.
Bro, I have a feeling Mixon's just going to go nuclear this week. I just have that feeling. Really, honestly.
This could be a shootout.
Yeah. With T-Lock coming back, I do think that this game could be interesting.
Is he for sure coming back? Is he for sure playing this week? Do we have any indication on that?
The most indication we received was it's likely he plays. That is
Okay.
wording specifically. So
Okay.
Which he probably will in this game.
yeah.
All bets considered.
So who do you like on Jacksonville's side?
Evan Ingram and maybe Tank Bigsby. But
Our defense, it looks like a top 5 defense in the NFL this year. So
Yeah, I don't-
he's going to have to
like-
get rid of the ball quick.
Brian Thomas Jr. seems like an okay play just because he seems like an alpha. Unfortunately, he's going to draw DJ. So that's a rough matchup for any wide receiver in the NFL.
I mean, it's
like-
pretty much
like a
BTJ.
Who's a
BTJ
slot receiver?
BTJ is pretty much all they got because Gabe Davis is out for the year. Christian Kirk's out for the year. You have BTJ and you have Evan Ingram.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
BTJ, Evan Ingram, and then Parker Washington.
Parker Washington. Yeah, I have no confidence in that.
I would look
No.
for a slot receiver. Probably Ingram over the middle of the field could have a day, especially with Petrie out with their slot corner who would probably cover him. So I like Ingram to have a
Yeah, I really
pretty
like
good day.
I really
Okay.
like Ingram this week. That would be
Yeah, so fire him up. Fire Ingram up.
Mhm.
Fire him up. All right. The Arizona Cardinals traveling to Minnesota to play the Vikings, coming off of did they went OT, didn't they? Against the Bears last week?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Vikings went OT, lost
Yeah.
or one on a field goal.
Yeah, that's right. So with that being said, obviously, the main guys, right? Are we fading Addison this week, or do we have confidence in it? Because that's 2 straight weeks where he's had pretty good performances. Obviously, last week was a great performance, but you like?
I mean,
you willing to start Addison?
Yeah, I'm willing to
Yeah.
again. Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
I do think
TJ
I think they make a concerted effort to get JJ more
I agree with
involved
that.
early
Yeah.
on because he was
Yeah.
a non-factor in that game until overtime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I agree with that. Agree with that.
JJ got triple teamed last week.
Yeah,
He did.
yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. The Bears were like, "Hey, anybody else can beat us."
Yeah, no,
That's-
100%,
That's why
100%.
Hawkinson had a day.
Yeah,
Addison, yeah.
had a day. I mean, those 2 players, obviously, my main thing was just the confidence level in Jordan Addison in that. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think he's a perfectly fine play if you want to play him.
Yeah, he would be flexible in my opinion for sure.
Yeah, Arizona side.
Marvin
Did-
Harrison freaking show up.
Well, if Kyler Murray could throw a touchdown to Trey McBride and not throw it,
That's all he looks
10
at.
feet over his head. Well, compared to, Trey McBride, Trey McBride's up here, his height, and Kyler Murray's like way down here. So he thinks he needs to throw it, 20 feet up in the air. I just need to see some more consistency.
He's just a little guy. Leave him alone. Okay.
He is a little guy.
Kyler Murray throws one of the best balls.
Hey, yeah, I mean he's an outfielder, Jason. He's an outfielder playing football, which is why he throws loopy balls all the time.
Second baseman, but yes.
I do think that you start those that you have confidence in the Cardinals, and I will leave that to be beholden to the owner of whoever you have.
Yeah,
There's
In
only
Jason's
3
case,
players
not
that
Marvin
can start
Harrison. I think you're starting Trey McBride for sure if you have
Yeah.
you're starting Trey
James
McBride, and then Vikings struggle against pass catching running backs. I think that this is a spot that the Cardinals could exploit.
Okay.
That's
Because James
like-
Conner did not show up last week.
He didn't
at all.
running the ball, but he
Right.
caught 4 passes for 46 yards.
Yeah, right.
So I think that he could be utilized in a very similar scenario this week, and maybe with slightly more efficiency on the
So
running.
fire him up. Don't look back. Put him in your starting lineups and just don't look back.
Close your eyes.
That's right. That's right. One thing I will say is when you're putting these players in your starting lineups, I know a lot of people look at like the projected numbers. Don't look at those. I mean, you can look at them, but for the love of God, if someone's projected 8 points on your bench, but you feel confident in him, but you still start the guy who's projected to get like 13 points, don't do that. Don't do that. Like that, you need to actually look at it and who has the better scheme, who could give you a boom week, especially this time of the year. That's a little caveat I'll throw onto that. But all right, next game we have the Seattle Seahawks going to the New York Jets. The Jets who just look like they're going to implode, and I don't know what's going to happen there. But we obviously reverted to the Seahawks side. You know who you're going to play as far as the receivers go, running backs go. My question is, well, obviously I know the answer. Is Tyler Lockett droppable?
Yeah. I mean, unless you're in a deeper league, yeah, he's droppable.
I mean, he's a player you're not starting. That's for
correct.
Sure.
It's not forecastable when he's going to get his 4 catches and 40 to 60 yards.
Yeah.
And with the emergence of JSN, I think that Lockett, unfortunately, this is the swan song for the Seahawks with Tyler Lockett.
Throw the ball to DK. Damn it, Gino.
Yeah, listen to Jason. DK is the alpha in the room. Unfortunately, the kid's got to play. So Jason's the best play, and Kenneth Walker is arguably second mention.
Are you good with
5 targets is not enough. 5 or 6 targets is not enough targets for DK Metcalf and that kind of receiver.
Yeah, it's not what you're looking for. It's not what you're looking for where you drafted him and what you just expect from him in general. Is Gino a play here? I mean,
it's weather dependent because there might be bad weather in New York over the week.
Right.
Yeah.
What about New York?
I don't know if the Jets can put up enough points to make this a shootout. So I feel like there could be better options on the horizon. But Gino is a pretty good quarterback right now.
What about the Jets?
The normies and no one else.
Okay. Yep. That's all I needed. That's all I needed. I agree 1,000%. All right. We got 4 games left here. Let's go. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Carolina to play the Panthers, who almost beat the Chiefs, Shane.
Revitalized Panthers.
Yeah, that was close. Yeah. Adam Thielen, dude. Adam Thielen
Bryce Young, my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 weeks in a row, Bryce Young showing up. Who would have thought that benching your quarterback and reinstilling faith in him would be a good strategy?
Yeah, it's nuts. Well, I mean, the Panther side should be easy. Like for me, it's Chuba and it's Adam Thielen. That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
What about
I would have said Jatavian Sanders, but
yeah, he's prayers up for
rough.
that guy.
It was rough looking.
Yeah. Buccaneer side. Obviously, Baker, you're starting Baker.
Cade Otton and Mike Evans.
And Bucky Irving. And Bucky Irving.
Yes,
yeah.
Sorry.
The guy you pounded,
that guy.
Yeah, the guy you pounded the table for all offseason, and I laughed at you. Yes, Bucky Irving is that guy, Jason. You're welcome.
Did you see how pissed he got?
Bucky? Yeah.
When he got him all the way down, and he was so pissed when the coach pulled him from the game.
I like that fire out of the rookie,
I do too, man. He should have had 2 touchdowns, and I can't remember how many yards he ended up with, but he should have added another touchdown onto that. Like that,
he had 87. But yeah,
it was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. Is Rachaad White still a play?
Yeah, especially against the Panthers. Pass catching running backs do exceptionally well against the Panthers.
Right.
That's why we saw the Chiefs utilize Kareem Hunt that way. I don't hate starting Rachaad this week if you have him.
Okay. Good deal. That's good. That's a good lineup right there. Next game, you have the Los Angeles Rams traveling to New Orleans to play the Saints, coming off of a bye week here. Saints side. Who you like?
Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Matt. Give it to me. Give it to me. He's going to get 4 targets. Listen, Matt, if I told you a guy was going to get 4 targets, how many points would you project him to get?
Probably like 10.
Well, you're wrong. Marcus Valdes-Scantling's going to get 4 targets. He's going to catch all 4 of them, and 2 of them are going to go for touchdowns, and they're all going to be 100. He's going to total 150 yards.
I would love that because I have to start him in the league.
It's literally it's insane. The dude's on a magical run. Congrats, Marquez. You figured out how to catch a football.
Yeah.
And you're playing for a team that's still in playoff contention. So, hats off.
He's got a soft spot in your heart.
He does.
After dropping so many passes for the Chiefs, I'm glad to see him successful also.
What about Taysom Hill here?
You just need to catch one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 170 yard tutty.
I am benching Taysom. He has that one good game. I can't trust it.
I can't bench him. I'm
starting him. I'm not benching him this week.
I've got to start him.
Fun fact: he's tied in 8 in tight end rankings. If you guys put faith in that, but also he had a 20%.
Yes, tight end rank.
He had a 20% target share last week or 2 weeks ago for the Saints. Like if he's going to continue to have that floor of target share mixed with what he does outside of when he's catching the football, give me Taysom Hill to just clear all the time.
Right now, the tight end room, the tight end landscape is just so messy right now. You don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, Sam Laporte has done nothing really.
Dalton
Travis Kelce Dalton Kincaid starting or hasn't done anything. Travis Kelce starting to come alive a little bit, but no, Gray's taking some points from him. Taysom Hill's a guy that you know is going to touch the ball. So I'm just right now for fantasy purposes, I want to shoot for that ceiling and hope for a couple.
He could also throw a touchdown pass. You never know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Taysom or Mark Andrews this week?
Well, we're going to talk about Mark Andrews here in a little bit, but I would lean towards Taysom.
I think I would probably. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a good one, Jay. That is a tough one.
Okay.
Yeah. But on the other side of the ball, you have the Los Angeles Rams. Pretty standard. Obviously, we've already talked about Matt Stafford, probably benching him if you have better options, which you probably do. Anybody else out of the ordinary though with the Rams?
I mean, I think that Demarcus Robinson is always in play.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on how scrappy you feel.
Yeah, no, I agree.
He's a must start if Puka or Kupp is injured.
Well, yes,
but yeah,
100%. Okay, yeah. I personally, I think I'd bench DeMarcus.
Also,
I'm running starting him.
Also, Taysom Hill is tight end 5, and Mark Andrews is tight end 17. So that's pretty crazy.
Recency bias.
I don't know. I mean, Andrews got into the end zone.
He did,
but it was just not a sexy stat line. He had 2 catches for 22 yards.
Yeah,
that's all you hope for out of Andrews.
In week 11, and then he had 5 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown last week. But he only played 42% of the snaps, Jason.
Yeah.
If I told you a guy was going to play 42% of the snaps, would you take him or the guy who's going to play 70% of the snaps and play quarterback, running back, and tight end?
And maybe put up 2 points.
And maybe a wide receiver a little bit. Maybe
he's gonna play slot.
Might kick a field goal. I don't know.
He's just squib it. That'd be the newest thing. He squibs it. He drop kicks it into through the uprights for 3 mid play.
Storm.
Okay, let's move on to the next game. The Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Baltimore to play the Ravens. Good game. This is gonna be a good game.
Game of the week.
Yeah. I mean, this one's pretty self-explanatory. There's really probably not anybody out of the ordinary that you're starting. Or can you think? What do you think? Rashad Bateman, maybe?
Yeah, I think Bateman's startable. I will say the Eagles' defensive secondary looks very stout right now. Cooper DeJean is balling.
As a dude.
Yeah, he's balling.
God dang it, Pittsburgh! I don't know why you didn't draft his ass.
So is Quinyon Mitchell. And Darius Slay, if he's upright for this game, that's important. Because I don't know if you guys saw him get knocked into the nether realm, but that man soul left his body when he got hit. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I think that you're starting the normies on both sides of the ball, and maybe Rashad Bateman. I will say Kenneth Walker, or not Kenneth Walker. I just threw up because I said the wrong name. Kenneth Gainwell should be rostered at this point in time. He's officially edged out Will Shipley as the backup running back in Philadelphia. And if, we know one thing's for certain in football, nothing's predictable. So, not that I'm wishing anything ill will against Quads, who's the MVP. But
I will say I think this is a lot more low scoring than people think. I think it's going to be a more control the ball, run heavy kind of attack by both teams. I think they want to keep the ball out of both quarterbacks' hands, and they're going to try to run the football. Eagles average 7 yards a play. So it's going to be one of those things. Who's going to show up for the MVP race?
I'm just excited to watch this game. It should be a good game.
Yeah, I wish that they would have gotten flexed to a primetime game, but
100%.
It's fine. It's on satellite here at the 3:25 kickoff, so I'm okay with it. It'll give me something to do on mid Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, we got 2 games left, guys. Let's fly through these. We got the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Buffalo to play the Bills. Another game that could be good. I mean, this could be another like firework style game here. We hope that Brock Purdy is back to make it hopefully a good game to watch. But at this point in time for the 49ers, you can't really say Juwan Jennings is out of the ordinary. We talk about him, I feel like, every week. I feel like every analyst talks about him every single week. My question is what do we do with Debo? Like, what do people do with Debo? You still feel like you're forced to start him, but deep down, you know that unless he breaks a 7-yard slant to go to the house, you're probably not going to be happy with his points.
All right, Matt, I've got a fun game for you. I'm going to list 3 players, and you're going to tell me which of the 3 did not outscore Deebo Samuel.
Okay.
Dontavion Wicks, Jalen Brooks, Tyler Lockett.
Oh man, I will say which ones did not.
Which one player of the 3 did not outscore Deebo Samuel last week?
Was it? I feel like the Dontavian one. You're throwing me off with that one.
Maybe.
I'll say Tyler Lockett.
Jason, you have an answer for me?
Brooks?
No, Brooks definitely outscored him.
Brooks had 4.1 points. Dontavian Wicks had 2.5 points.
Dang it.
2.1 points. And Tyler Lockett had 2 points.
So I was right.
You were correct. Tyler Lockett was the one who did not outscore Deebo Samuel by 0.1 points.
I mean, right. You feel like you still have to start him, but it's not pretty, right?
Yeah, there were more tight ends that scored. There were 27 tight ends that put up more points than Deebo Samuel did last week. So
it's gross. I feel bad for him. It sucks a little bit.
I know.
But
66 wide receivers outscored Deebo Samuel and 28 tight ends. That's a world I don't want to be in. I'm going to be honest.
I do feel that Deebo Samuel is going to have like some sort of weird, not breakout, but weird game where he's going to go off for a crap ton of points. But it's like when is this going to come?
Against the Bills, that's when it's going to come.
Yeah.
I will say CMC is here for a blow-up game. The Bills do not cover outside run at all. They are terrible. One of the worst units of football defensively against outside run. The 49ers are one of the best offensive units in outside run, and Christian McCaffrey particularly excels in running the ball outside of the tackles. So exploitable. We're going to see it. It's going to be bread and butter. That's going to be rinse, wash, and repeat.
Right.
Brock Purdy being back, Trent Williams being back. Those are all major factors in this game.
Yeah. I think
you start the normies.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the deal in this game. Is another one where you're just starting the guys that you need to start.
Start Khalil Shakir for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Okay. Last game. You got the Cleveland Browns playing at Denver. Bo Nix doing his thing.
How is this Monday Night Football?
Yeah, it's gross.
I
mean, I will say I'm happy to watch Bo Nix play because he has been like an exciting player to watch on the year. But yeah, it's not like, why is like the Bills, Niners, or the Ravens, why are they not on Monday night?
Yeah, you're not guaranteed. You're not guaranteed a primetime game anymore. Why did we decide to make the Browns Broncos a primetime game? But I will say, yeah, Bo Nix will be exciting to watch in primetime. Jameis Winston's always funny. So
yeah, he's a character.
Yeah.
Anybody out of the norm? Anybody out of the norm though? Obviously, you're starting Cortland Sutton, Bo Nix.
Devon Bailey.
Yeah, Devon Bailey. I think he could be a spot start here. I mean, he could have a good week. What did he get? 9 targets last week, 6 receptions. I think he had somewhere around the realm of anywhere in between 60 and 80 yards, somewhere in between there. He's a good wide receiver. He's a good wide receiver. I don't really want to start any of the Broncos running backs. I really don't. It's gross. It's nasty. Every time
I'm done playing that guessing game.
Yeah, because every time you guess, it's the other one. So
yeah, it's like the shell game. He is playing the shell game before the game to figure out who's going to touch the football. And
right.
He's like, it's under this hat. No, it's actually under this one.
Yeah, it's weird. It's gross. Those are pretty much the players I'm confident in Denver. On the Cleveland side, what do we think here with the wide receivers? Elijah Moore, Cedric Tillman. You're obviously going to start Jerry Jeudy. Njoku. Those are the obvious starts with Nick Chubb. But what are we thinking on? Do you like Elijah Moore, Cedric Tillman? Do you like either one of those players for a spot start?
I like Tillman. I will say I think that Elijah Moore has a pretty favorable matchup because the Broncos are, again, one of those teams that just is slightly weaker against slot wide receivers. So I think that's something that's exploitable.
Yeah, whoever's not going up against Surtain.
That was the main point.
Gotcha.
Just avoiding Pat Surtain is the key.
Yeah, that is the key. Who knows? Game could be exciting, but that's going to be the matchups for the week, guys. And that's actually going to wrap up today's episode of the Parlay Fantasy Football Podcast. Again, fantasy playoffs are coming. You've got to do your due diligence and know what you're doing with the waiver wire pickups, especially this time of year. If you know you're going to make the playoffs, or if you need to win to make the playoffs, you still want to look ahead. And if you have players that are dropped, don't be in love with the players that you know you're not going to play. So go out and get some of the players that you know someone else might need, or you need to handcuff any of your players. So make sure you're doing your due diligence on that. Good luck in the fantasy playoffs. And remember to go check out Fantasy Six Pack YouTube, subscribe, give it a like, go to Spotify and Apple Podcasts, subscribe to the Parlay Fantasy Football Podcast, leave a 5-star review, share it with your friends, and then head over to fantasy6pack.net. 48% off Black Friday. Use Black Friday's promo code. It's the largest sale of the year. Once that Friday is gone, it's not coming back. So if you want a lot of fantasy information, insights, and you want to chat with us on Discord as well as a lot of other people, get your all access membership today. And with that being said, y'all know what to do.
I would like to state at week 13 that this is officially the year of who is that guy. Shout out David Moore, Calvin Austin Jr., Cooper Rush, and Justice Hill.
Sell out for this week because next week is going to be gross.
That is accurate. Good luck to everybody this week, and good luck next week. We will see you on next episode. We love you all very much, to the moon and back. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Until next episode. Peace out.